sucks so much. What's up, guys? This is Chris here, and today we are going to be doing the full 1,000-round review of the Canik MC9 Prime. Now, the Canik MC9 Prime is a very interesting gun. It's Canik's take on trying to make the perfect carry gun. So, did they do that? Well, today we're going to find out. Before we do that, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you guys we have guns, ammo, and all kinds of cool stuff to review on the channel. We appreciate you. So if you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below and sign up. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter named Iowa. It's the YSS. Those kids could really use your help, so please go down there and donate to those kids. Canik sent us this, but that will not change what happens. Now, what is the Canik MC9 Prime? Well, it is Canik's newest release on the MC9 platform. This gun has a 3.6-inch barrel, and the gun weighs about 20 ounces. It comes with two 17-round magazines, which is impressive capacity considering the size, and it is only about an inch thick, making it a very lightweight and easy to conceal gun with a really good capacity. This gun also is the first Canik to be completely made in the USA, which I'm a big fan of. The gun comes with some really interesting features that sort of sets it apart from its competition. First off, it does have that 3.6-inch barrel, but it also has 3 ports in the barrel, which gives it a relatively interesting recoil impulse by comparison to pretty much every other handgun on the market. I don't know if I've seen this system on anything else, and we'll go over whether that's good or bad here in a little bit. Lightning cuts in the slide, which lighten up the slide and lessen the reciprocating mass, making the perceived recoil a little bit less than it would otherwise.
One of my new favorite carry pistols of 2025. I friggin' love this thing.
Also has really, really cool milling on not only the inside of the barrel and the chamber here, but it also has really good slide cuts in the slide. So if you're going to be manipulating the slide, you can do it from the front or the back really easy. The sights on the gun are a blacked out rear with a HD tritium front. Phenomenal sights in my personal opinion. You used to have to pay an extra $150 or $200 just to get sights like this on a gun, even 5 or 6 years ago. And now these things come standard. That's very impressive. Speaking of sighting systems, the optics mounting system on this gun is what I believe is the best variation of an optics mounting system you can get on a small gun, and that is the direct mill for a shield RMS pattern optic. For the tiny little skinny slides like the Canik or the Micro 9s, definitely the shield RMS pattern is the best because they are micro optics. You wouldn't want to put a big RMR on this slide. Why have a thin slide with a really thick optic? So the optics mounting system on there is perfect. I prefer that over a plate system. They sit so low that you can co-witness with your iron sights, which is really good. And then a direct mount optic is always going to be the most durable and the most secure. Not only does it fit in there relatively tight, so you actually have the optic cut itself preventing it from moving forward or backward, but you only have one set of screws to fail, and you can actually see those screws, and you can put witness marks on those screws so you can tell when they're getting loose, versus optics plate screws, which are underneath the optic, and if they get loose, they get loose. You have to take the whole optic off, then you have to tighten those, and you can't see those with witness marks. So I really prefer this mounting system, especially on a carry gun, which in my opinion cannot come loose. EMB slide release, slide stop on either side of the gun, which is basically just a big lever for me to push my big dumb thumb down on. Every time I shoot these guns, all the pre-cock striker guns, I'm always like cranking on this thing for recoil control, and then the gun doesn't lock back, which is okay, because even if it doesn't lock back, I'll just run the slide really quick. Running the slide is definitely not an inferior system. You can pretty much do that on any gun regardless of the slide release, so since I shoot so many guns, it's generally what I do anyway. Down here to the grip is absolutely excellent. We have really, really good texture, especially for a carry gun, which is one of the first things that attracted me to this gun. Not only does it have really good texture on the front and back strap, but it actually has texture all the way up where your palm will fit into the gun, and that's something a lot of other handguns, especially in this price point, do not give you. Very reminiscent of the TTI Combat. A lot of these features that are on this carry gun actually come from the Canik TTI Combat, which came out last year, which is a collaboration with them and Terran Tactical, and a lot of these go fast features people really appreciate on a carry gun, because carry guns are small, they're lightweight, so they have a lot of recoil. So the comp, the grip matter a lot more, in my opinion, on a small gun, especially if you're going to shoot it quickly. Well, not only does the grip have a lot of texture, but it is a really ergonomic grip. You get a high beaver tail here, and you can get your finger high up on the trigger guard because of the trigger guard cut, and then you can get your support hand high up on the gun because of the secondary cut in the trigger guard. Really, really good grip, in my opinion, especially for a small gun. Feels almost like a full-size gun when you shoot the gun. Such a well done and decent sized grip. 17 round capacity in a gun. Small smaller than a Glock 19 definitely cannot be underestimated. Add that to the fact that the grip angle is better than the Glock 19, the texture is better than the Glock 19, and it still holds more rounds while being thinner. I mean, that's really impressive. Down here we have the included mag well, which people with smaller hands will really like. It makes it really easy to insert the magazine very quickly if you need to do reloads. However, if you have big hands like Bubba and I, it does press your fingers a little bit up into the trigger guard because my whole hand doesn't fit on the grip. So it's a little bit uncomfortable for me. If I was going to carry this gun full time, I would probably just remove this mag well, which you definitely can do with a set screw right there. So if you don't like it, you can bounce. If you got big old ogre hands like Bubs and I, you can take it off. And if you don't, if you have hands like Lorraine, my wife, for example, you can leave it on there and have quicker mag changes, and it's perfect. The magazine release is done really well, textured and swappable to the other side in case you're wrong-handed, which I appreciate. And then what I think is probably the star of the Canik Prime is going to be that trigger here. The trigger is very impressive. You know, I say the Canik guns and the Walther PDP series have the best triggers in the striker-fired industry. Well, as far as carry guns go, there's no competition. Walther doesn't have a micro 9. Not only does Canik have one, but they even improved their trigger over their basic guns. We have a literal 3.5 to 4 pound pull, which is just crazy on a carry gun that feels so good. The reset is incredible. The trigger breaks at 90 degrees, and on top of that, we have this serrated flat face pad here, which is wider than a normal trigger, which I really, really like. It feels like a thick 1911 trigger pad, and not only that, but it's also serrated to add to the amazingness, and it's just one of the best triggers you're ever going to feel on a handgun, especially a carry gun. Probably the best other than 2011s or CZs that I've ever felt on a carry gun.
Race? What?
Oh my god.
What are we gonna race?
The dueling tree? You with that, me with this?
Oh no.
Now let's get into the reliability of the gun. How did it do over 1,000 rounds? It did pretty well. In the first shots, we took it right out of the box, we lubed it, we shot 300 rounds cold. We shot 3 different types of ammunition, Federal 115 grain, Blazer brass, and some of my competition ammo, and it functioned, all of them, completely flawlessly until my wife used kind of her weird grip.
My new grip is working. Oh. Till that.
Which she sort of limp wristed on and gave the gun the only malfunctions it had over the course of 1,000 rounds. We took it out multiple times after that, and the gun was 100% as you would expect from a carry gun, which again is really impressive considering we didn't clean the gun. And what I mean by that is with the new fad of comps on guns, if you're going to port your gun, one thing you have to remember is that long-term reliability will suffer because of all of the debris that you are introducing into the system that you wouldn't have without a comped gun. Comp guns are just going to push more gas and more dirt and debris near the system that actually operates the gun than non-comp guns do. So if you're going to have a comp gun, it is going to control the recoil more, but it is going to add more noise, more blast, and it is going to make you clean your gun and lube your gun more frequently. That being said, it wasn't a problem in the 1,000 round review of the Canik, pushed right through it with no issues. You know what else it pushed through? A mud test.
Little bug that got trapped in that. That's pretty funny. All right, so we'll load her up. Oh boy.
3, 2, 1, fire.
That sucks so much. We actually mud tested the gun a few days ago. I caked this gun full of mud, picked it up, and dumped an entire magazine. I didn't even have to help it along. It shot through the entire magazine with no issues whatsoever. Very, very impressive for a carry gun to not only go 1,000 rounds, but then also go through the mud test with no issues. Speaking of durability, the gun is relatively durable. Not only does it have all these cool slide cuts, but it doesn't reduce the durability at all because we also did a drop test on this gun to make sure. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our primered case here and we're gonna put it in our gun and we're gonna see if this gun's drop safe. It has a really, really nice trigger, this pre-cock striker trigger. So we're gonna see it's as drop safe as something like a Glock or an M&P. It's gonna take me a minute because these are actually hard to get in the gun. I wish Grand Thumb would have shown him putting them in the gun each time. Here we go. It's obviously covered in mud as well because we just mud tested it. So we'll see. I'm gonna drop it on the butt of the gun first, drop it on the rear, and then drop it on the front. Nope. Then the butt. Nope. Good. And then we'll see if the case works. Pull the trigger. Yep. Drop safe. The pre-cock striker trigger mechanism is a lighter trigger, but one thing I've always wondered about is it drop safe? Well, it is, because we tested that. Now leading into the gun's accuracy, how did it perform with that amazing trigger? Well, it's not a full-size 2011, I will tell you that, but as far as carry guns go, as far as a 3.5-inch carry gun, it's pretty accurate.
Me and the Canik Prime, I feel like, have become one. I just feel like I can barely miss with this thing. I'm a fan.
We were able to hit consistently from 50 yards, which is more than you're ever going to need for a tiny little carry gun. But now we'll get into shootability, which is what the gun was supposed to improve upon. I think the grip works. I think the trigger works really good. I like the optic system and I like the sights. Those are amazing. The compensator, however, that new revolutionary compensator, which I told you I would talk about in the beginning, the triple port, I actually don't really like it. I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes new isn't better. And I know that people might disagree with me with this. I've seen a lot of people tout this comp system, but I don't really like the triple system. I actually am very accustomed to compensators. As you see on the channel, I shoot a lot of ported guns, I shoot a lot of comp guns, and I actually really don't like the way this shoots by comparison to some of the other systems that I've seen. I actually prefer the single port comp or the dual system. The Smith & Wesson runs the dual system as well as Atlas, and a lot of other guns just run a big single port comp. And then other guns that I also really like run like a V6 or a V8 porting system. This one here, I could kind of take or leave it. To be honest with you, in recoil impulse, Bubs and I, both of us didn't really feel like it had less recoil than the MC9 LS, which is basically the standard variation of this gun without the porting system and the accessories and things like that. For the blast that you get, for the noise that you get, I don't feel like you get enough improvement in the recoil impulse to actually justify that.
I wouldn't mind carrying it, I just would hate to not have ear pro on.
Shooting retention with a comp gun is not impossible, but it's not a wonderful time. Shooting from retention, you normally want to cant the gun off to the outside. That way the comps shoot the gas in a different direction, because over here you're going to port the gas right up in your face. I literally did it yesterday. And you get a lot of that with this gun. You also get a lot of noise in and around structures. The comp, I feel like it just makes it too loud. Like when we're shooting up and close with everything, it feels like I'm shooting an AR with a brake on it. We shot a lot in and around buildings, in and around tires and things like that. And you do definitely get more noise on average with the comp than you do. But you do get some recoil reduction, but I don't feel like it's enough. I think maybe if they're gonna revamp this gun in the future or put a second generation out there, I think maybe like something like a V6 or maybe even a big single port comp would be the right move. That being said, problems with the single port comp is that if you don't stop the rifling beforehand, you can lose some accuracy. However, I believe with this gun, they actually stop the rifling just short of the comp, so you don't have any issues with accuracy, which I really like the fact that Canik did. Some of the other ergonomic features that I like that added to the shootability of the gun are going to be the little bitty gas pedals here. If you drive with the gun, I really like that, and I feel like that helped me reduce some of the recoil. The last thing I want to talk about with the comp is not only do I not feel like it reduced enough recoil for me to justify the noise, but I also felt like the recoil impulse under shooting was a little squirrely. So you see my support hand and my dominant hand here. Usually when you shoot a firearm, it kind of cants off to the right like this. So if I fire up, it usually cants off slightly to the left because your support hand is the path of least resistance. Where with the compensator, it kind of felt like it was kind of swirling around, and it was difficult for me to anticipate and repeat the recoil control with this gun. And I felt like it was a little like riding the lightning.
I gotta grip the f out of this thing though.
Maybe that's because I shoot a lot of firearms, but for this one, man, I do wish it just had a big single port comp. Now let's talk about the value of the gun. The gun comes in at around $850 if you get the Canik optic. I would recommend you avoid that. I don't actually like the Canik optics very much. We actually got one on a review gun and I immediately tossed it. I like the SIG optics and I like the Vortex optics as far as the small micro optics go. And if you go without the optic, you can actually get the gun for $600 to $650, which I think makes it a pretty exceptional deal. Especially if you only want to pay that much, you can just run the iron sights. The iron sights are absolutely excellent. You don't even need a dot. Now at the $600 price point, if you can find it for that, it is an absolute exceptional buy in my personal opinion. You're gonna be very, very hard pressed to find a handgun with features like this for that price. I mean, with the amazing trigger that this gun has, with the porting system that the gun has, with the slide cuts, with the optics mounting system, with the HD tritium sights, and this amazing grip with all this texture and the magwell, holy shit. I mean, a stock Glock is about $600 to $650. And if you wanted to do all this stuff to a Glock 19, you'd have to send it into Agency Arms or Salient or some company like that, and they're gonna charge you thousands of dollars to get all the accessories and the features that you're gonna get on this gun right out of the box. On top of that, you couldn't even get the trigger on this gun in a Glock, even if you wanted to. No matter what combination of springs, no matter what combination of faces or any magic that you think you're gonna do to your Glock trigger, it's never gonna be as good as the pre-cock striker trigger on this Canik. So do I think it's worth $600 to $650? I absolutely do. Now, I was hitting on the comp just a little bit, but it's still pretty good. I mean, as far as small guns go, the recoil control is very good, and I would consider that like the only real con of this. Everything else is absolutely exceptional, and it might be the closest thing to a perfect one gun that a human being can get. I mean, lightweight, 20 ounces, carry it all day, 17+1 capacity, all the capacity you're gonna need. Gun's big enough to shoot. You could use this for a home defense gun if you wanted to, or a do-it-all gun, and it's small enough to carry all day without you noticing. Man, I really can't say enough about the Canik Prime. I think they should maybe tweak the comp a little bit, and I honestly think if they do that and they get the comp down, maybe with like a V6 or a V8 port, holy shit, this might be the perfect carry gun. What's been your experience with the Canik Prime? How did your gun do? Is your gun reliable? Is it accurate? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you want to see a versus video with this gun, again, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.